Hello, we're going to cover some engineering and economic impacts related to COVID-19 pandemic in 5 questions. I'm Mark Hiskey, Control Engineering Content Manager, talking with Terri Hiskey, Vice President Global Marketing at Epicor. Terri, please describe how COVID-19 has impacted your marketplaces, industries, and/or supply chains.
Yeah, so Epicor is a software provider. It has certainly affected our industry as it has affected our customers' industries. We have, for Epicor ERP, mostly small and medium-sized manufacturers. And so I would say in the immediate time in mid-March when we kind of went through this nationwide shutdown, it did impact our manufacturers quite a bit in the fact of just, almost paralysis, like not knowing what to do in the short term. Some of them were deemed essential workers. Some of them ended up having to go offline for some period of time. And I think in either instance, it seemed like both were caught a little unprepared, and so I think there was a bit of just, as I said, paralysis in terms of what do we do next? We don't want to cut, we don't want to spend any money right now because sales have just stopped. What do we do? And I think once everyone had a chance to kind of collectively take a deep breath, then everyone was like rolled up their sleeves and started to get to work. Those people that, especially those companies that had were deemed essential, moved a lot of their workers, to remote work. A lot of them had production workers, for example, had to put in some physical distancing initiatives in place in order to get back to work. So, I would say initially it was a shock, I think, almost to everyone in the country, the fact that we just went into a shutdown. And I think everyone went into maybe a few days first of just looking around. What's everyone else doing? What should we be doing? Before, you kind of move out of that paralysis and then start to move to action. And that's where we're certainly seeing all of our customers at right now.
So how are you seeing COVID-19 shaping your markets with technologies and systems, people and training, and processes and quality control?
That's a really good question. We have seen an immediate shift almost. Epicor sells solutions that really helps manufacturers manage their cost and productivity on their manufacturing floor. And certainly the top areas that people were looking at right away were any solution to help automate processes, to move from paper-based processes to more virtual automated processes. We saw an uptick in people looking at our education on demand, for example, looking for solutions on how to access Epicor remotely. And so we definitely saw the need. We actually introduced in our last release a collaborative platform so that people could come together and collaborate on specific Epicor ERP information. So that was one of the first solutions that customers, as they started to get back to business, we're immediately looking at. And so really anything that can help promote collaboration, communication, any of those type of solutions that were within our portfolio were very popular. The other thing that I'll say is e-commerce, the ability for customers to go to a site and check on their order or to even transact business. That has also been an area of technology that companies are looking at. So I would say anything that can, in the short term, help customers gain a better understanding of their financial position and their financial health is important. Anything that can help with worker productivity, especially if they're working from home, it has been has been looked at. And then I would say more long-term, I think that companies are going to look for things that help more with operational efficiency and start looking at technologies like IoT, for example, that will help you, remotely monitor the production and health of a machine.
Thank you. With global economics, what changes do you foresee in the coming 1 to 3 years to recover from the pandemic and maybe better prepare for the next potential pandemic or other challenge?
Well, one of the things that I've been hearing, because I've been asking the same question to our customers, is that it seems like a lot of customers really want to make sure they have their pandemic plan or their crisis plan in place. In fact, I was just talking to a customer earlier that said that they were putting a plan in place in case they lost half of their workers to sickness. What would they do? So I think that, for the short term, everybody is going to be starting to put together these crisis plans. But kind of further out, 3 or 5 years out, I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on automation. I think people have been scared over, what workers would think, that their jobs were getting replaced with robots or cobots or even just automated workflows and processes. But I think because of what has happened, that has changed how people are viewing those technologies, and that they shouldn't be technologies that threaten people's jobs, but actually help enable people to continue to work and help those businesses continue to, produce the products that they need to produce and to, help them survive.
Good. Covering teamwork and collaboration, how do you foresee engineering teams evolving in the coming months, using communication and productivity tools to help drive efficiencies?
I mean, I've even seen it's just the adoption of collaborative tools like Slack or Teams or something where you can collaborate virtually on a plan or a scheme or a workflow. I think that IM is also hasn't gone away. We actually had I talked to a different customer this morning about what they were doing, and it was interesting because I was sharing stories about what was happening at Epicor, and he was sharing stories about what was happening at his company. And he said, you have to keep in mind, people that work at Epicor are mostly used to working in front of a computer and doing their work from a laptop. But when you talk to production workers, they're used to having their station on a floor. They're not used to having to dial into a VPN, for example, or even bringing up Skype. That's not something they are used to doing. And so I think we're going to see a lot more people trained and certainly as new workers, the Gen Zers start to come into the workforce, they'll know how to use all of that technology. So I think that you'll see more use of that. I think mobility is going to be critical, and that companies are going to have to make their applications such that you can access them on a mobile device, on a tablet, because that's where we're going to be going in 3, 4, 5 years, I believe.
Thank you, Terri, for sharing your perspective and your time. People can find related coverage at controleng.com, plantengineering.com, and cscmag.com under coronavirus and COVID-19. This has been Mark Hiskey for Control Engineering and CFE Media and Technology. Thank you, Terri, and please stay safe, and thank everybody for listening.
Great. Thank you so much.